Hey y'all, it's Dr. Shamanda. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things mental health, personal finance, and overall strategies to live your best life. All right, you guys, so welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am a millennial single mom of 2 teenagers and former high school dropout turned doctor, PhD. And I'm on a journey towards financial freedom, time freedom, and building generational wealth. All right, guys, so it is Monday. It is the beginning of the last full week of August 2025. And I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I'm super excited about this week. And I'm excited for so many reasons. Make sure you watch my channel this week. I have so many videos coming out this week, so many wins and celebrations. So make sure you're tuned in. But if you're watching this video, you've seen the title. And the title is, I want to share with you guys 5 things that I would do differently if I was starting over with money today. I am 36 years young, 36 years old, seriously. And I have learned so much about money over the past 5 years. But overall, just the past 36 years of my life, whether it was watching, being raised by a single mom and struggling, so basically growing up poor, and being in a family system that, money wasn't really a big thing. We didn't really know much about money. And just kind of growing up in that situation, and then also raising my children as a single mom. So money has always been a big thing. And as someone who works as a licensed therapist, I've seen the effects of money when it comes to people and their mental health as well. And so one thing that's super important to me is learning how to manage money, learning how to manage and get a hold of our personal finances. And not only for myself, but to teach others how to manage their money and how to be able to build generational wealth, so that everyone that comes after us, they're not starting from scratch. They're not starting from zero. They're not having to hustle and grind to get the bare basics like a home or their cars and things like that. So this is so important for all of us in this world. But let me jump right into it. Here are 5 things that I would do differently with money if I was starting over. The first one is that I would start investing sooner. I told you guys a few videos ago that I have been able in the past, literally, I think next month makes 3 years since I started investing, for the first time ever. I am almost at $50,000 total invested. So imagine if I had started in my 20s. That would be a game changer. I'll probably retire right now at this moment. I'll probably make videos with y'all, but I would be already retired, because the compound interest that you get from your money when you let it just sit and grow is, there are really no words to describe it. It is literally a phenomenon. It is amazing how much your money can grow over time. So imagine if you start earlier in your life. So that's one reason why I told you guys I have teenagers, a 17, 18-year-old. They are working or will start working part-time jobs, and they're already investing. They already have money in their investment accounts. So imagine already as teenagers starting to invest, and how much that money can grow over time. So by the time they're in their 20s, well, early 30s or 40s, they could retire. So if I could start over now, I would start investing. I would start investing as soon as possible. I don't care if that's $25 a month, $50 a month, whatever I could scrap up, I would start investing, because it just grows and grows and grows, okay? The second thing I would do is I would build an emergency fund ASAP, right? Because that emergency fund, literally, and I call mine a freedom fund, but I think they're 2 separate ones. For me, I look at them in 2 different things. Freedom fund is that retirement cushion kind of thing that will let you kind of be free whenever you're ready, kind of FU money. And then your emergency fund is literally this fund that would save you from having to go into debt. So I just think about the things that I had to pay for that kind of were unexpected, right? And if I had an emergency fund, I would never have to use my credit card, which you guys have seen me talk about this. I'm very transparent. There are times when I'm budgeting and, okay, we ran out of food earlier that week, and so now I got to go use my credit card and get some more food that week. So things like that, but if you have an emergency fund, you don't want to use it for groceries, obviously, but other things like unexpected car expenses or maintenance fees, or maybe something pops up that you just did not expect. Things happen. Life happens for all of us. So that emergency fund is there to be your cushion. So it's not setting you back on paying off your debt. It's not setting you back on your savings FU fund, freedom fund. It's not setting you back on investing. Like, there's so many goals that most of us have, and when we have to like stop or pause because we got to pay this thing off or we got to pay for this X, Y, and Z, then it kind of slows us down. But if you have that emergency fund, it really helps significantly. The third thing is I would avoid car loans and other debts. So I did, when I first started out, I had a car. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to my first car. I don't even remember. I think I was like 16, so I have no idea. But anyway, but I do remember studying Dave Ramsey early in my early 20s, mid 20s for sure. And I learned about the whole concept of a cash car. So I did it right that time. I think I purchased my first Toyota Camry, which I love that car. I love that car. But I ended up total lossing it because I was in a 3-car collision. I never race to work for that reason. I don't care if I'm be late, I'll be late, baby. You just have to find somebody else to do it. I don't care. It is what it is. But I tell my managers that from the beginning, like, I'm not rushing to work. If it's raining, you won't see, I will not be on time. Just let you know. Anyway, but I total lost my car in that wreck. And one thing I said I was going to do, I said, if I ever get out of this car payment thing, I am going to get me a cash car, because I knew better. I had already studied Dave Ramsey, and I knew the whole concept of buying a cash car. Now, it's not easy, because when I tell you, while I was waiting, like driving my rental car that was, paid for by my car insurance, after I, total lost my car, my Toyota Camry, it took me a while, but I think a few weeks, but I had to like ask my mom, like, Mom, I need a cash car. I need a car that's like this amount, $3,000 or less, literally, because that's all I had. But like, I need a car because I'm not getting a car payment. I do not want a car payment. I was so committed to that, y'all. Like, my mind, when I get focused on something, I'm like dedicated, and I never regret that. I remember that moment. And my mom found me a car for like $2,500. This was like at least 10 years ago, because it's probably like 2012 or something, 2014, I don't know, maybe 2015, 2016, something like that. But I remember, and she called me and said, hey, I found a car at this little, car dealership over here. They're selling this Ford Focus. It was like a 2005 Ford Focus, little gray car, very compact, very much me. Like, I'm, petite. So I was like, oh my God, I saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh. Now, keep in mind, I could not think about, what people going to think about you. Are people going to think you ain't got no money? Oh, I thought you was a model. They're going to be like, this ain't, you know what I'm saying? And I already had like a Lexus. I had already had certain type of cars that going to a little Ford Focus was like, not even going to hold you. It looked like a step down. Like I was like, something's going on with my finance. But you can't worry about people and what they think in their judgment, like literally. So I got that car, and when I tell you, I was so grateful. So I drove that car for like 2 years until it just completely fell apart, and that's when I got another Benz. But this is a story for another day. But anyway, I drove that car, and I was able to do so many things with the money that I was not spending on that car payment. So I know what it feels like to not have a car payment, and it is one of the best feelings ever, because that money can go somewhere else. And for some people, it's not about cars. Maybe it's something else that you spend your money on. But if you can avoid debts like that, like cars, and I don't know, like what people buy stuff, because I'm a minimalist, so I don't really know. But like, what other things you guys may buy things, spend money on? If you can avoid those things early on, and if I could start over, I would like avoid car payments. So if you can avoid some of those things now, listen, it's going to make so much of a difference, because that money that you're spending on those things, you can put that towards your savings or your investments, or even just treating yourself. Let's be for real, because I want to start talking more about that. I know I don't want to talk much about that, but like doing fun things for yourself, taking yourself out on a trip, things like that, you have more money in your budget. The fourth thing is that I would live on a budget and track every dollar. Now, I do feel like I did pretty well with that. And you know why? Because I didn't have nothing. Like, I was a single mom. I had my paychecks, and before that I had, Section 8 and all that kind of stuff, like very early on in my young adulthood. So I didn't really have nothing to really budget. But even at that time, though, before I found Dave Ramsey and the whole baby steps and personal finance, I probably could have done better with budgeting. Just learning how to track my money and how to manage money. But I learned pretty early on, though, like my early 20s, mid 20s. So, but if I knew that it's like earlier, I probably would have been even further ahead in my budget you know, for my personal finance journey. So that's one thing that I would definitely say. I definitely didn't know much about the zero-based budget. I just knew that you track what you got to spend. Like I knew I had to pay my light bill, my rent, my car payments, whatever things I had to buy, like just basic stuff because that's all I had at the time. But I knew the dates they were due and all that, but I didn't really know how to like budget to the dollar, because technically, had I done that, I might have been able to find at least $20, maybe some months. Yeah, I was poor. Like struggling. But like I might have been able to find $10-$20 here and there, you know. So I would have just learned how to budget better, definitely, for sure, if I could start over earlier. The fifth thing is I would focus on assets and not impressing people. So I already talked about this a little bit about the car thing. I learned that, but that was in my mid to late 20s, I think. I think mid 20s when I got my cash car. But baby, had I knew and had gained that level of like self-worth that wasn't dependent on what people thought about me or trying to live up to this image, I never would have got my Lexus that I had got, which I think I paid cash. No, I didn't pay cash for it. I put money down on it when I got my income tax check 1 year. Y'all, we just keep it real. And then I made payments. So and then I paid it off. So, and I think I blew the engine. I don't know, something. Yeah. Anyway, when I tell you these cars, boy, wait. Anyway, but I would have, like, you know how much money I would have saved if I wasn't buying those cars and making those payments and stuff on those cars, and just would have gotten cash cars. Because again, as a single mom, not now, because I don't get no money back on my income tax checks, but those checks be looking good, and you really could use one of those checks to pay cash for a car. But instead, some people, I'm not speaking for everybody, go get a new car, but put money down on it. Now you got a car payment, or you go get some new TVs and deck your house out. Go get new clothes, not stuff. And I'm not saying by not buy clothes for your kids and stuff like that, of course. But like, go get a bag and all that stuff with that money. I just think about what I could have done with those. And I said this in my last video. The money that I was getting from those income tax checks and stuff like that, I could have gotten so much further ahead. But I was focused on trying to create this image because I was poor. I was a single mom living in poverty, raising my kids. So sometimes when you get that money, you want to feel better about yourself. You want to feel better about your situation, and you don't want to look like what you're going through. But if I could go back and do something differently, I would have been like, baby, I don't care what y'all think, because we all in the same hood. Why am I trying to impress you? Be for real. Like, we literally in the same situation. We just dress it up real good. We just make it look good. And there are things that we need to do so we don't feel depressed. We don't feel like what we're going through, so we can get through that season. But we were setting ourselves back. Well, I'm gonna speak for me. I was setting myself back because I was trying to impress. What is it? Impress the Joneses or live like the Joneses. I don't know. Whatever that saying is, put it in the comment below. Correct me, y'all. Y'all know I be getting butchering these sayings. But anyway, listen. I don't care, baby. What? I don't care at all. Like right now, if something happened to my car, God forbid, after I pay it off, I'm gonna get me a little Honda, a little Camry, and I'm telling you, I'm going to the car dealer, some dealership. Local dealership, I'm gonna take me a mechanic, and I'm gonna find me a car for like $5K. I'm gonna find me something, because if I come in there with $5K cash, they're gonna take it. They might charge $10K, but I'm gonna get that thing for like $5 to $7K, and it's gonna be okay. I'm not worried about impressing nobody. I'm like, oh, you went from a Benz to a Camry or a Honda? Yes, because honestly, those cars are fine with me. Most millionaires drive those cars, to be honest. So anyway, y'all, those are the five things that I would do differently if I could start over and start sooner to change the trajectory of my personal finance journey, or just my standard of living and things of that sort. So I hope these help, and if you can relate to any of these 5, drop a comment below. Let me know which one or which of those 5 resonate with you. Anyway, guys, if you're watching this channel, thank you so much for being part of this journey. I am super committed, dedicated, and excited to be on this journey with you guys. We are reaching our goals week by week by week, payday by payday. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so grateful. And if you guys know, I am on my journey towards monetizing this channel, which is going to be going toward paying off my student loans. So help your girl out, okay? Watch these videos. This is the week. So I'm claiming it. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right.